Hello and welcome to Uncovered, the podcast with your host, Jason Irving. Join me in a journey to understand what's truly happening in your world and the world around you. This is not about how you're living life on the surface. It's about what's truly driving you from under the covers. I'm going to take you on a journey to deeply uncover the reason why you are here, the ultimate purpose in your problems and the way that they have shaped your life up until now. See, I believe you have a purpose, and your problems are the highway towards ultimate realization of that journey towards freedom and the reconnection of your true self. I've been told I have a different spin on most things, and I'll be giving you my understanding of life, love, and what we're all here for, purpose. To get the best out of this podcast, drop what you already know so you can discover what's beyond you. So join me, let's play this game of life and bring on liberation, transformation, and change. Let's do this. Hey guys, welcome to Uncovered. I'm super excited. I've got this amazing woman, Hannah, here to talk about her business and what she does. So, Hannah, welcome to Uncovered. Let us know what you do, how you do it, and why.
Sure. So I am the founder and CEO of a Canberra-based charity called Roundabout Canberra. About just over 7 years ago, so actually at the end of 2017, I was on maternity leave with my second baby. And I have always been a very proud Canberran. I've lived here nearly my whole life, and I've always wanted to be able to support those people in our community who've needed support. So after having both of my kids, I really liked the idea of being able to pass my secondhand baby items on to people who needed it in our community. But there wasn't any easy way to do that and to know that it was going directly into the hands of people who needed it. So, of course, you can donate to op shops, and there was a women's refuge, Carina House, who I used to donate to from time to time, but they had very limited space and limited resources, and sometimes they weren't in a position to take the things that I had to donate. So, I had come across a charity in Victoria, which was formerly called St Kilda Mums, but is now called Our Village. And basically, they took secondhand donations of baby and kids' clothes and then provided them to local families in need. So I thought surely something like that could work here in Canberra. So I decided to do something about it. It wasn't something that I'd done before. I'd never run a charity. I'd done a lot of volunteering previously, but had never worked for or run a charity. My background was the public service. But I gathered a bunch of incredible women from my social network and my working life and convinced them to form the initial board that was able to set up Roundabout Canberra. And so basically, fast forward to now, what we now do is we take donations of pre-loved baby and children's items. So members of the public can come and donate their items to us. And then we have an incredible team of volunteers who get those ready and make sure that they're in beautiful condition so that they can be passed on to local families.
I love that. Look, and I've been out to your place. It's an old school, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, the old Holt Primary.
Yeah, and the most beautiful thing that I saw, Hannah, was the community of people and the smiles on their faces as they were, folding clothes and delivering all the boxes. And you've got this huge warehouse of things to deliver to people in need. And the kindness that was in that place was just mesmerizing. It brought me to tears. I was like, oh my God, this is a place of care, of deep care, love, and reverence. And I was looking at the community, and there's a lot of older folk coming
Mm,
in and doing that, like people in retiree mode by the looks,
yeah.
coming in and having something to do, to look after community. You could see they felt like they had so much meaning in what they were doing. So it's not just we just do this charity, give us some money, and half of it, most of it actually goes to admin. But your charity is so different. So can you tell us about what makes it sort of different in the
Yeah.
eyes of someone who is a person trying to figure out, well, what do I give to if I've got extras? Why is yours so different?
Yeah, I want to pick up on the point that you made about our beautiful volunteer community. So last week was National Volunteer Week. So it really gave me a moment to really pause and reflect on what makes our community so special. And I really reflected on the fact that when I started Roundabout, so we were all volunteers. It's now a paid job for me, but I was a volunteer for a number of years as well. And so I knew that we needed volunteers to do what we wanted to do to support children in our community because we didn't have any money to do anything. But I think I really underestimated what that volunteer community would grow to become and what it would mean for our organisation and the work that we do. And it has just become the most beautiful community. So we have about 250 active volunteers who donate their time to come and help us at Roundabout. And yeah, as you said, so most of them are around retirement age, but we also get a lot of mostly women, but parents who are working part-time or on maternity leave who, want to come and do something with their spare time. And I think for a lot of our volunteers, it is about doing something meaningful and practical and contributing to people who need our support in the community, but it is very much a place of social connection as well. And we try and keep it fun and sociable. And, we always break for morning or afternoon tea so that there's a chance for people to rest their feet and connect as a group as well. And I think that community is just, yeah, something that I feel grateful for every single day because it is full of kindness, both towards the families that we're supporting, but also towards each other. And, the way that I've seen friendships form and people check in on each other where, everyone's got stuff going on in their personal lives. And it's just, yeah, it's really special.
Yeah, it sure is. And it from a person from the outside looking in, I watched someone walk in. She was just starting her shift.
Mm.
So she walked in and she had a spring in her step. And then all the girls, there were pretty much all girls there that day. All the girls looked at her and smiled and said, "Hey," and she just glowed
Oh, that's
back, this gorgeous smile. And I was like, "Oh my God, this is more than just a charity. This is a symbolism of community and care for people who are providing as well. It's not just it's really something special, and I sort of sat there and I was really, really gobsmacked about what you have done, and this is me from the outside communicating from an objective perspective because you're subjective, you see it, but when I came in there, I was just completely in awe of this whole ecosystem that you've built. You got this
that's really
amazing,
nice to hear.
oh, just phenomenal. I didn't know. I cried. I was just I seriously, you saw me cry. I was just like, oh God, this is a bit embarrassing.
Yeah, well, that's
I felt
you're
embarrassed
not
because
the first person to shed a tear
no,
around about, and yeah, that's
yeah,
lovely.
yeah, because and then you've got this amazing. This is what we've done. So you've got this leaderboard of
Mm.
people doing all the help and all of that sort of stuff. Well,
And we really want the volunteers who are contributing, we want them to feel connected to what we're doing. So they're there working hard and doing so much to contribute to what we're doing. But what I didn't say earlier is we don't work directly with the families that we're helping. It's all done through, so we work with about 140 social services and community organisations. So social workers at the public hospitals, women's refuges like Carina House, migrant and refugee support services, some of the local schools, and we're very deliberate in that model. There's two reasons we do that. One is because we know that for so many families that are in need of support, it's really exhausting to have to repeat their story over and over again to a new service. And I actually had someone say to me the other day how much the family they were working with really appreciated that they didn't have to repeat their story to a new service. They can manage their material needs through a relationship that they already have, either with a social worker or a caseworker or someone they're already working with. But also, we feel that if families aren't connected to a service, it's very likely that if they need assistance with material items for their children, they probably need other forms of support, and we're not in a position to provide that. So I think for our volunteers, the fact that they're not seeing the families walk in through the door, we're not directly connected to those families. It's really important that we make sure that they can feel the impact of their work. So we make we make a really big effort to make sure that they see the statistics, but also tell them stories, because that makes it all so much more real. Numbers, only tell one part of the story, but when you actually hear the story of a family that we've helped, and some feedback from that family or from the caseworker who's been supporting them, it just really makes it all hit home and makes people realize the impact that we're having.
Yeah, and I think this is really, really important, listeners, because look, I want to bring this up. I was talking to you offline around this, around how cities that are named really affluent and really amazing cities. I lived in Vancouver and it was named what number one city in the world, the livable city in the world. And there was a street called East Hastings that basically it was full of people on the street, had, you know, drugs everywhere. There was three streets that were just full of people that had no life but a street life. And I
Mm.
was confused. I was like, so if this is the most livable city in the world, and what you saw just next to those streets was the tourist area,
Yeah.
right? And you're like, here's this amazing tourist area, and you would
Mm.
never know because you're walking through the tourist area and they make sure they guide you through the tourist area and that's it. And then just past the tourist area is this absolute opposite to this highly affluent area. It was the slum. And I was
Mm.
like, but no one knew.
Yeah.
No one knows how much need there is in Canberra because it's considered the highest affluent average income in Australia. So there's no knowledge, I don't think, in the Canberrans that there is a major issue in this town. Would you agree?
I absolutely agree. And to be honest, when I reflect back on what my drivers were and what my understanding of the landscape and the need at the end of 2007, I actually had no idea. So I knew there was some need, but I had no idea of the extent of it. And I think when I initially started Roundabout, I wanted to support families, but I was also very much focused on the fact that, there are other people like me who are fortunate and in a position to pass on their secondhand items. So this is a great avenue for that. It's a great way to support those people who need things. But it was only after starting Roundabout and actually becoming connected with these 140 services that we work with and really getting that deep understanding of the need that exists. Yeah, I'm constantly sort of blown away. And I think this misconception of Canberra as a middle class public service town completely masks the need that sits there. And we don't have a street that you walk down. So I know you're saying in Vancouver it wasn't visible to everyone, but if you did walk down that street, you would see it. But in Canberra, there's no one street that you walk down and you experience that. It's scattered. The need is scattered across our
Yeah.
city, and it's very much there. And I guess, to put it into perspective when we're talking about numbers, so last year Roundabout Canberra helped almost 5,000 children, and we know that we're not even meeting the all of the need that's there. We know that some families won't ever want to come into contact with services, so we may never be able to support them. But I guess, that really helps it to hit home just in terms of the level of need.
Yeah, listeners, 5,000, 5,500 people is a huge number of children. It's huge, and you just wouldn't. It's gobsmacking to even think that that even exists in Canberra. I'd be thinking, oh, it'd be a couple of hundred you'd be looking after. It's not that. And you said before we just jumped on air today, you are inundated at the moment, which it's sort of weird. It's like, that's great for business, but it's really not great on some level. It's like a real
I know.
paradox, isn't it?
It's this
Like you being
confusing
busy
thing
is not good.
that we're constantly confused by, we experience confusing feelings around this, because in one sense we're so grateful that we can be there to support the level of need that exists, and so we want to be there and we want to be meeting that need, but then at the same time it's devastating because these are children and parents who are going without the very simple things that so many of us take for granted, like socks or undies or toiletries or nappies and wipes. Like those are things that you can't go without. They're all essential. So, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a really big thing, and so I was thinking about this. I remember coming in. We came in to see you guys. We also came in with a bootload of stuff, right?
Right.
And so we came in with, old car seats, which we didn't know that we could give. You had no idea. They weren't old for us. They were pretty much brand new,
Yeah.
hardly sat in. And I was like, oh my God, this goes to the tip. And we didn't realize that your service can actually provide these secondhand things that you're not allowed to give to people, and you can give them to your charity. I had no idea that there was this amazing service around that provided this. And you told us something really, really important because I've got two daughters and a boy. And so
Mm.
we had some amazing boy clothes.
Hmm.
You responded with, oh, thank God you got some boy clothes. Tell us about the difference between this because you said we really lack boys' clothes. Why is that? What's going on there?
I think it's something we try and unpack constantly. I think boys probably in general have less clothes than girls do. But yeah, so I mean, I think if we look at sort of the portion of children we help who are boys versus girls, it's probably fairly even. But we do find that we really have trouble getting enough boys' clothes. So especially warm clothes, long pants. It's a constant struggle for us. So yeah, I think it probably does come down to just the amount of
Yeah,
clothing that
clothing.
girls have versus boys. We're always very much in need of girls' clothes as well, but we're often desperate for boys' clothes, and right now we are as well. It's something we're definitely feeling right now.
Yeah, wow. And so what ages are we talking here, Hannah? Are we talking, littlies? Are we talking 15? Like
Yeah.
where are you ranging from here?
So we help newborns all the way through to teenagers. So if we're talking about clothing size, we go up to size 16 children's clothes.
Right.
We don't have a hard line in terms of the upper limit. So we do help 17 and 18-year olds with the items that we can help them with. But yeah, so that full range from newborns all the way through to teenagers. And what we find is that the items that we have trouble getting enough of tend to be car seats, cots, and prams that are so important for little ones. And then for the older children, it's very much clothing in that sort of 5 to 16-year-old range. Yeah, they're probably the items that we really struggle to get enough of.
Yeah, okay. And so when we're looking at clothes, obviously we're not looking at ones with holes in them, right?
Mm. No, that's right. So, one of our core values at Roundabout is dignity, and it's something that we hold so close to our hearts. For us, the items that we pass on, it's not just a bunch of secondhand items that we're giving to a family that's struggling financially. We're passing on items that we consider to be a gift. So, it's about uplifting their dignity. It's about providing support during really difficult times because the families that we're helping for most of them, they're experiencing financial hardship, but many of them are facing other challenges in their lives. So it might be domestic violence, it might be housing insecurity or homelessness. We help a lot of single mums, a lot of migrants and refugees, young parents, people who are isolated and don't have enough support. So it's a broad range of families that we're helping, but we want the items that we're passing on to uplift them, so uphold their dignity. We want them to feel like people in their own community care about them and have put some effort into preparing these items. So when it comes to the quality of the items that we're passing on, we ask people to donate really great quality secondhand items. So when it comes to items like a pram that might have a broken part, we'll always do our best to repair those items because we're also very passionate about the circular economy and saving things from ending up in landfill. But in terms of the quality of clothing or bedding or backpacks and things like that, we really ask that they're in great secondhand condition so that they can feel like a gift for the families that they're going to.
Yeah, I love that because what I'm hearing, Hannah, you tell me if I'm wrong, you want these people to actually be walking down the street and not look any different.
Exactly. And that's actually we often talk about inclusion as well. We want them to physically be able to participate in their community, and that might mean having access to a pram to get out of the house with their baby or a car seat to get their kids, safely transported in a car. But we also want them to feel they fit in and they have the things that everyone else has. And we want those to be great quality items that they can feel really proud to use for their children.
Wow, I love that. So I got another question for you because I got questions. So
Yeah, no, I love it.
if we're looking at you, do you have is there a payment option as well, or is it just the clothes? Is it just the items? What does your charity do? Because I know most guys like me or girls, ladies, are going to be thinking, what money do I give? Is it just items or is it money too?
So we always say we need three things, and we're so grateful for anything that people can offer across these three areas. We need people, so we're always grateful to have extra volunteers to help us in our warehouse and make sure that we can continue processing the items and getting them ready for families. We are extremely grateful for donations of children's items, and we will always take those and always need those. And then we do very much appreciate financial support. So we try and diversify the areas that our money comes from. We work really hard to bring money in to keep our charity running. So we do a lot of our own fundraising. We have some partnerships with local businesses who help to support us financially. We apply for a lot of grants, and we're always very grateful for support from the community as well. Yeah, so we do gratefully accept donations from the public too.
Yeah, I think this is really important, listeners, because you might not have kids. You might be, listening to this or watching this, and you might not have kids, and you're hearing how important this is, and you want to support the local community. I think community is really important. What you've said is an ecosystem of community, and I think Canberrans are naturally really good at actually supporting their own people if they know,
Absolutely. That's
right?
definitely what I've seen too.
It's a massive. We are the highest givers as well. Apparently, statistically, we give a lot.
Mm.
But
Both financially and in terms of time. The Canberrans are very generous with their time as volunteers too.
yeah, so we've got this fabulous thing because I am standing for Canberra is friggin' awesome,
I
right?
agree.
It's an amazing place. It's not this boring, shitty place that all the rest of the states tell everyone that don't go to Canberra. There's so much here, and there's so much here that we don't know as well. So for listeners who are really hearing and this has really touched your heart, and you want to help these lilies two biggies, because we don't think about a 15-year-old who needs help. We think when the people in plight, we only think of ones between 1 and 5. And
Yeah,
I've learned something really new today as well that, because we've got a 12-year-old, so I'm just like 12-year-old boy. So we now know we make sure that his clothes, especially when they go 12 to 13, they go zippity doo dah.
yeah, that's right. They grow
They go
fast, don't
so
they?
fast. So we're making sure that we're giving our clothes because we know it's going to go directly to people who really need it, and they're not going to have to buy it.
Absolutely. I
Right.
really appreciate that. And I'd love to just add to that. And it ties into the dignity piece that I was discussing just a moment ago. We often reflect on the fact that when we're talking about babies, it's the support we provide is about upholding the dignity of the parents. It's about making sure that they feel confident and they feel that they can walk out of the house with beautiful items that belong to them. But when you start to talk about children who are attending school and, are sort of in that 5+ cohort, that's when children start to notice differences between each other. And, kids feel that, if they don't have things that their friends have or the other kids at school have, that's when it really becomes about upholding their dignity. So we're really passionate about making sure that we're providing school packs to kids so that they have a backpack, a lunchbox, and a drink bottle, and they can go to school with the items that every other kid has. Yeah, so I just think that's a really important way to look at it. It very much becomes about upholding the dignity of the kids as they become older.
So, listeners, I run an academy to train people to become mentors and deal with their psychology. Now, this is a rubber of the road, same thing. if you're listening to what Hannah's bringing to the table right now, is she is making sure that parents are not feeling so psychologically damaged, that kids are not feeling like they are damaged because they're different and they don't have enough. She's trying to actually make sure that everyone is repaired from the feet to the head. And I think this is really important because you have a mission that is so important, and so the way that you talk, Hannah, is so considerate to everybody. So it's really nice to see someone who has such a big picture vision, because a lot of the time you're going, I need to give this to the kids and then they'll have some stuff. But you're actually thinking about how they are going to feel when they walk down the street, how the parents going to feel when when they're going to the mall, knowing that they're going to go to the mall, but they're not going to go and be able to buy something from that shop. But surely they should be allowed to go to the mall and not look any different and feel any different to
Mhm.
anybody else. And I think this is really important, listeners. This is a really amazing mission that you have. And I can feel me saying this, I can feel your emotional you in your eyes going, yeah, this is bigger than what I probably thought I was doing in the beginning.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you've got this really important role to play. And I think people don't realize how much the people who are doing these sorts of things, how much they care for the people around them. And, it's so easy to just go and give money, right?
Mm.
But to do something that you've done, I've got a question for you.
Hmm.
Your business, like your ecosystem, what is its vision? What is your vision? What is sitting in your head saying, this is what I want for the world. This is what I want for the world of Canberra. What does that look like for you?
I guess there are two things that I reflect on often. One is that I just want to make sure we can meet every need of every family that needs support in Canberra. And at this point, we do a pretty good job of that, but it is challenging in terms of making sure we have enough items to meet all of those needs. So I just want to be in a position where every family in Canberra knows about us and they know that they should donate their secondhand items to us so that we can meet every single need of every family that does need support.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, I'd love to be able, so we provide a small amount of support to the areas of regional New South Wales that surround Canberra. There's a lot of need in some of those towns. And, that's from, our immediate neighbours right down to the south coast. I'd
Right.
love to be able to do more in all of those areas. At this point, we're very focused on making sure that we're meeting the needs of Canberrans. That is our primary focus. But eventually, I'd love to be able to do more to help our neighbours because there's no service like ours that exists in those areas.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, so that's my ultimate goal.
I love you.
Thank you, Jason.
Look, and I'm really grateful that you've given us your valuable time today, to get to understand a little bit about what's underground, what to uncover a beautiful woman an amazing passion to create a charity that is here to look after the needs of every children who needs help and care to and obviously a bigger ecosystem over time to look after the regional areas. And I'm probably sure with you, with the way that I see your passion, Hannah, you're going to end up going, okay, how can I make this the whole of Australia once I've got this part done? I don't think you
No,
can.
no, I won't. There actually are some wonderful charities in other parts of Australia who
Okay,
do
cool.
what we do and do a great job, and we all share ideas and
Oh,
support each other.
great. Yeah.
So it's a really lovely network of organisations that are working hard to do the same thing. But if I can focus on our area, then that will be a
Yeah,
big win.
yeah. Yeah, I love that. So, look, thank you so much for your time today. And for listeners, you'll get all the details of Roundabout Canberra on the show notes and everything. But please, guys, I hope this really hit you in the feels and you really want to support the local area of Canberra, and you can see how much of a difference this woman wants to make in the lives of people who need it. So thank you so much, Hannah, for coming on Uncovered today and sharing your vision and what you do that makes a difference in this beautiful town of ours.
Thank you, Jason. I really appreciate you having me.
Hey, thanks so much for listening to our podcast. We'd love it if you could like and share it with your friends. Our website address is www.wellnessbreakthroughacademy.com. We also have all of the videos on YouTube under Wellness Breakthrough Academy as well. We also do small courses, live events. I have an amazing book called From Broken to Breakthrough. We'd love the opportunity to give you a hand to help you live your purpose, to find out what you're here for, to give you the direction. Our courses are amazing and we do everything really, really differently for what's happening in the world at the moment. So come and find out how we can help you break your limitations so you can live the life of your dreams. We'll chat soon.